Oh my goodness, here we are in May, and we are in the midst of creating our next move. The theme this month is Create Your Next Move. And what I promised you is that this month is going to be a workshop of sorts, a masterclass on how do I create my next move with all the cray-cray that's going on out there, right? How do I navigate? How do I begin to move more and more into my desire? Into my zone of genius with all of the turbulence going on, because despite what's happening out there, we still are living lives in here, right? We're still living lives in here. And the more aligned we are in our lives, the more impact we have out there, right? So, last week, we talked about the sacred stirring. And we talked about that divine restlessness, that restlessness, that whispering, that discontent, discomfort that can happen when there is something trying to get our attention, right? And it's not quite fully formed yet, and it's like, I likened it to The Princess and the Pea, right? Is that the name of that, right? Where there's the pea in the mattress, and no matter how many mattresses are on top of that pea, the princess still feels it, right? That stirring is still there. There's something nudging, something calling, and we walk through a process for you to anchor into your stirring. What's stirring for you? What's emerging? So did you all do some work around that this week? Yes? Yeah? So I had some people call me, some people who are not here called and said that they had really been really sitting with what's stirring, what wants to emerge. And so this week we're talking about answering the call. And I love that this fell on Mother's Day, because when you think about, if we use birth as a metaphor, the birth process, and so whether you birthed a child from your own loins, or whether you have birthed a community or a piece of art, or did you like that? Did you like that, Marcy? I see that laughter back there. So whether you birthed a child physically or birthed a piece of art, a body of work, some of the principles are still the same, right? And so when you think about it, in that birth process, there comes a moment when you cannot negotiate with what is trying to be born. You just have to push, right? You just have to push, right? There comes a moment where you cannot be worrying about, am I ready? Is this, what's going to happen? What's the strategy? What's the plan? Do I have enough of this? Do I have enough of that? At some point, you have got to push. There is no other choice, right? And so that's what answering the call is that moment where you have to push, right? And so when I talk about the call, what am I actually talking about? So the call is not an idea. It's different than an idea, right? An idea, you can have an idea about something, you can postpone it. It's very much in your mind, very much cerebral, right? An intellectual thing, an idea. A call is different than that. A call is something you cannot shake, right? It follows you. It's speaking to you. There's something that it feels like in your quiet moments, it comes up, right? When you're sleeping, it may come to you in your dreams. I remember when I had the call to come to ministry, and I had not really, it was not an idea that I had, even though my mom was a minister and I knew lots of ministers, certainly from Agape. So even though I knew a lot of ministers, it was not an idea in my mind, right? And then I had this dream, and the dream made no sense. Like, it just made no sense. It was sort of a fantastical dream. It didn't make any sense. But when I heard Michael Beckwith's voice in the dream, and he said something to me that still made no sense. But when I woke up, I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt, oh, I'm supposed to go to ministerial school. Now, how did I get that from the dream that made no sense? I don't know, but I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt, oh, that is my next move, is to go to ministerial school. And it was clear as day. It was still, there was no questioning it. There was no, oh my God, none of that. It was just clear as day, like, this is the next thing. And so I started on the path to making that be the next thing that I did. So that's one version of a call. Other times a call can be, when you look at shamanic traditions, and with shamans, typically the call is a disruption. It can be an illness. It can be something traumatic that happens. It can be something that cracks the person open, right? That disruption, it disrupts the daily life. It disrupts the old ways of being, and that call comes forward in that way, right? It's a thing that comes forward and begins an initiation process. And so when I'm talking about answering the call, the call is really life wanting to live and express, God wanting to express in a bigger way through you. And it's calling you forward in a very specific way that only you are prepared for, right? That only you are qualified for, that only you have the skills and the tools for. Because your call is that divine presence moving in you and wanting to express in a very specific way. And because it created you out of itself, it already knows that you can handle it. It already knows, yes, you will have to do some work. Yes, you will have to do some stretching. Maybe it looks like going to school. Maybe it looks like learning some more skills. Maybe it looks like a new network. Maybe it looks like some other way that you prepare yourself. But you're already ready. Are y'all feeling what I'm saying here? Yeah? And so the call is incredibly, it's irresistible. It's irresistible. Ernest Holmes says, every one of us has the potential of the universe behind us. There is an irresistible potential pressing against everyone for self-expression. I'll say that again. There is an irresistible potential pressing against everyone for self-expression. If we listen, we shall hear it, not as a voice, but as a feeling, as a divine urge to express, right? This irresistible. And so this means that the call in your life is not random. It's not random. It is life itself seeking to express through you, right? Through you. So I'm going to ask you now as we move through this time together, I'm going to ask you just to reflect on and sit with what I'm saying and feeling into your own beingness. And what is the call on your life right now? What is calling you right now? What is wanting you to express more right now? Right? What is saying, come unto me right now? Right? So I want you to be really feeling and sensing into that. Ralph Waldo Emerson says each man has his own vocation. And by the way, the word vocation, the etymology of that word means a call, right? So Ralph Waldo Emerson says each man has his own vocation, and the talent is the call. He inclines to do something which is easy to him, or she inclines to do something which is easy to her. And when good is done, he inclines to do something which is easy to him and good when it is done, which no other person can do. He has no rival. So here's what Ralph Waldo Emerson is saying. When we answer our call and we do that thing that we are created to do, there's some ease and flow to that. There is a way that we do it that is good and beautiful in a way that no other person can. And by us answering that call and doing that thing, we then do not have a rival. There is no competition. It's very similar to the zone of genius, which we've talked about quite a bit, and from Gay Hendricks' book, The Big Leap, where he talks about your zone of genius. He describes it as your zone of genius is that thing that you do where you lose all time and space, where you're so aligned with the divine presence moving through you, and you do it really well, like incredibly well. And when you are living in your zone of genius, there is no competition. So you don't have to look around at your colleagues and your friends and go, why are they having this? And why is this happening for them and not me? And why is this? No, when you're in your calling, there is no competition. Because you are doing that which you were uniquely designed for. And even if you're doing something that's similar to someone else, let's say you're an artist and there's lots of artists, right? You're a speaker, there's lots of speakers. You're a minister, there's lots of ministers. When you're in your zone of genius, when you answer your call, there is no competition. You are a unique expression of the one, right? And so you can walk in confidence and assuredness in this and not look to the right or left, comparing yourself to what other people are doing. Yes. So in thinking about this call, first of all, how many people here feel like there is a call that you are aware of there's something calling to you right now? Yeah. So many people feel that there is something calling right now. And so here's what I want you to do with this call and how you answer it. So the first thing is to stop fighting the contractions, right? Stop fighting the contractions. And this is what it looks like. It looks like, questioning, should I do this? Trying to run away from it. Just resistant to whatever the call is asking you to do. Right, whatever the call is, and you're running away from it. You know it's there. You can't really get away from it. But you're busy yourself with work, or you busy yourself with relationships, or busy yourself with alcohol, or whatever it is. Right, so that you try to drown out the thing that you know is calling you to do, and try to delay it. And here's the thing: life is always going to win. Life is always going to win. That thing that is calling you is going to be expressed. That baby is going to be born. And you can either go along with it or you can fight it every step of the way. But the baby's coming out, right? One way or the other. Yes. And so it can be so much easier when we just surrender to it. Stop fighting. Stop fighting. You know you're called. You know there's something that wants to express through you. So let's be about it, right? Let's get started. Let's go. Let's say yes to it. Yeah, so that's the first step, is stop fighting the contraction. Stop running and just be still so you can actually birth the baby. Yeah, are y'all with me on this? Yeah, because there's nothing more exhausting than trying to fight what you're called to do. There's nothing more exhausting than trying to fight God, right? It's like you're not going to win. There's this great play called "My Arms Are Too Short to Box with God," right? It's like this is not a fight you're going to win, right? So you have to surrender to that which is calling you. That's the reason you're on the planet right now. And imagine if we lived in a world where more and more people lived into their purpose and their call, then there'd be no need to dominate others, or no need to hoard resources, no need for violence or war if we're all living out our call. Yeah. So let's talk about the second thing you're going to do as you answer your call. So the second thing is, and this is sort of obvious, but in this birthing process, you have got to push. You have got to push. Yes, and what that means on a spiritual level is having a deliberate, irreversible yes. A deliberate, irreversible yes, right? Once you push, there is no going back. And so my invitation to you today is, for the way that you know that you're called, for the call that is on your life right now, I invite you to feel into and sense into what is your deliberate, irreversible yes. Is it a phone call? Is it a change you need to make? Is it moving somebody out of your life? Is it moving someone into your life? Is it a change in how you're taking care of your health? Is it a new job, a new location, a new place, a new space? Wait, what is your irreversible yes? That push that you cannot come back from. And I invite you to take that move, because that is how you begin to create your next move. You've got to say yes. You've got to do something that you can't walk back from. Right? It's almost like burn the bridges behind you, because the only way is forward. The only way to move is forward. So this means maybe having a conversation, taking a leap, taking some kind of action, making a decision. And that push that you're doing, when that irreversible yes, is giving consent to the call to come forward in your life. You're giving consent to the call to birth into your life. And so that's the second move that you need to make. And I want you to really get this, because I think this stops us so many times. We don't want to answer the call because the circumstances aren't perfect or we feel like we're not perfect, right? So it's like, whoa, I feel like this thing is calling me, but first I have to do this, or first I have to be this, or first I need this skill, or first I need this thing. And the call doesn't require you to be perfect. It just requires you to participate. Just participate. Right? When you're birthing something, whether it's a child or an idea or a creative project, you're not going to be perfect. Birthing is a messy process. When we look out at our world right now, what I believe and what I've been saying is we are birthing in a new way of being, and it's messy right now. It is messy right now because the old is fighting to hang on. The old ways of being, the old paradigms, the old stories, fighting and struggling to hang on, right? Because there's this movement underneath that is such a greater movement of oneness, which is what's causing the fight. Right? Because there's no reason to fight and hang on and have all the stuff going on that we see. There's no reason to do that unless there's something bigger behind it that's threatening, right? That's the only reason that you would have all this stuff happening. So there's a big shift in consciousness, a big up-leveling in consciousness that's happening, that's birthing through us, and it's messy, and it's going to be messy. Because there's a lot of people who don't want to do the irreversible yes, right? There's a whole collective that wants to fight the contractions every single step of the way. So it's going to be a rocky process. It is a rocky process, right? And so my invitation to you is to just know that the process does not require perfection. The process requires us to participate. Yeah. So if you're right now feeling and sensing and knowing there's something calling you, and you know it is time, it is pressing, it wants to come into the world, but you're going, well, I'm not this, or I'm not that, or I'm not ready, it's time to let that go. It's time to let that go and just push, right? Just push. And then the third thing is that after you have pushed, right, and that which wants to be birthed through you is birthed, then it's time to receive it, right? To hold it in your arms, in your open arms, and nurture it, right? To love it, to clean it up. Yes. It's time now to move into care and holding and cultivating and nurturing and feeding that which you have brought into life, right? That which you have brought into life. And trusting that everything that is needed for this beautiful creature, this beautiful creation, everything that is needed is drawn unto you, is provided step by step by step by step. Right? This is how we begin to move, to create our next move. This is the creative energy, the birthing energy. And it's so beautiful to be talking about this on Mother's Day, because what we know and what we sense and what we see in the world is calling out for all of us to be mothers. Right, for all of us to bring that mother consciousness, the divine mother consciousness is what's needed to transform this world. We are all called to birth a new world, to birth a new way of being, to birth a new way that we will be on this planet. And it starts with us individually doing our own work, getting into alignment with our own lives, and collectively then being a part of birthing this new consciousness. Right? The metaphor is always applies whether we're talking about the individual or the universal, right? The individual or the cosmic, right? The individual or the collective. It's the same metaphor. It's the same process. And so when each of us answers the call, when each of us births that new way of being in our own life, then we become more skilled midwives for the collective, right? We become more skilled midwives for the collective. We then can see, oh, okay, so here's where we're fighting the contractions. Oh, here's where it's time to push, right? Here's where I need to get in line to help push. Here's where I need to help others stop fighting the contractions, right? The world needs mother energy. That energy that's going to birth something and then care for it and cultivate it and protect it with love and care and fierceness, right? Fierceness to protect our planet, fierceness to protect our humanity, fierceness to protect our hearts, our lives, our livelihood. The world needs that consciousness because we have plenty of consciousness that is more concerned with driving, getting, and you need both, right? You need the balance of the masculine energy and the feminine energy. But we're very tilted into the masculine driving, getting, acquiring. We're very tilted into that energetic. And the world needs mothering. It needs the fierce love and protection of the mother, of the divine mother. And so that's what this day brings us into, our own individual calling, our own individual mothering, and how we then do that for the collective. So my question for you, this morning is to look, sense, and feel into your own life. And I'm going to ask you to close your eyes. We'll do a little process here. And just take a deep breath and let that breath settle all the way into the belly. And let go of whatever is racing through your mind right now. Just let it go, let it go. And I want you to get a feeling, a sense of your call, that which is calling you, that way that life wants to express through you. So it could be a new job, it could be a new life, it could be in your role as a caretaker, it could be as an artist, it could be on a big stage, it could be on a small stage. It could just be you evolving. But what is that call? And take a deep breath as you just feel and sense that which is irresistibly calling you forward. Yeah, good breath. And I want you now to think about the ways that you are fighting the contractions, the ways that you may be running, resisting, pretending it's not happening. And just take a deep breath and let all of that fall away with the inhale and exhale, right? Just any resistance, just let it fall away. No need to be perfect, to know everything. And now I want you just to get a good sense. Let it float into your awareness. What is the one push you can make? What is the one irreversible yes? The definite, irreversible yes. That one action that you can take. And just one thing, we're not doing strategy here, just one thing, let it float up to your awareness. What's the one move you can make? And when you have that move, just wiggle your fingers. And I want you now, in the depth of your being, to just say yes to this call. Just say yes with your heart, yes with your cells, yes with your bones, yes with your brain, yes with your muscles, every cell in your body saying yes, 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 I answer the call. And if you feel moved, just say it out loud. Just say yes, yes, yes. And take a deep breath here. And go ahead and open your eyes. And so I just honor you for saying yes to your call, for being willing to birth something new into the world. And so along with honoring your call, honoring your mothering, I honor all mothers everywhere. Whether you've birthed children or whether you birthed a movement, whether you birthed healing or families, art, something beautiful. What a blessing it is to be a part of this day and of this movement and to say yes within our own being. And so I just invite you to take this feeling that's in this room out into the world, into your life, into your neighborhood, into your work, into your relationships, into the world, because this is what the world needs. Let's turn within.